Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to the TGIF Talks, episode 90. I'm joined by my co-host, Anonymous Phil.
Yes.
Let's roll the intro.
Wouldn't you like to get away?
It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday.
And they're always glad you came.
These podcasts broke down.
At Grant Thornton, we know modern business demands a fresh perspective, which is why we're more than an audit, tax, and advisory firm.
Shut up, ads. You don't even have sound. How are you talking? What?
Me?
No, I'm talking to the ads in the news article for later. Anyways, these podcasts broke down to 4 parts. First, we have How Week's Been, followed by, well, the news, as the fans already saw. The future of the channel, or maybe lack thereof. Dun, dun, dun. And then finally, a random 4th topic. Today's 4th topic is probably our trip again, or the elements. So we'll decide. Anyways. So, what have you done the past 2 weeks?
I've worked. And worked. And worked some more. Yeah.
Wow, what a life.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Tell me more.
Well, some days if I decide not to work, I still end up working some more. And I work some more.
It's like, you know what, I don't want to work today, but then decides to work more. How does that...
Then decides to work more. Yes.
What a contradictive statement there.
Yep.
Gee. Freaking birds.
Very exciting, I know.
Oh, yeah. Exhilarating. Well, I made my decision about... okay, actually, I should probably just tell what's going on first. So, you know what's going on, but the schmucks watching, or the people
I
not
don't.
watching,
You have to elaborate more. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I was offered...
You haven't said a word at all. That seemed to hint at what you're talking about.
I know, I stopped because anyways, an opportunity came up for me to potentially apply to switch to a different branch. This different branch is so close to my apartment that it is conceivable to walk. I'm pretty sure that the time it would take me to walk there is the same amount of time it takes me to drive to my current job. So my commute virtually doesn't change, except now my truck can literally just sit in the parking lot all the time. It never has to go anywhere. It only goes somewhere like for Saturdays, because I've thought about it for Saturdays and it doesn't make sense to walk on Saturdays.
It doesn't make sense to walk on Saturdays?
No, because like I have to mow Saturdays, right? And why would I walk all the way to work, then walk all the way back home, get my truck, and then drive to Grandma's?
You save a little bit of gas and get some exercise.
Yeah, but like, I would rather get to Grandma's earlier. That way I can finish mowing earlier, and therefore I have more time left of my Saturday.
Fair point.
Anyways, I could not decide. I was so indecisive. I flipped a freaking coin.
Let me... I don't know, maybe I have to cut this out, but how much does the people that work there have a negative impact on the decision?
What do you mean?
In other words, if there were, say, different people that you would work under, would that sway your decision?
No. So this decision,
What are the significant cons other than people?
Well, all the cons we've always been just the only other con besides just having to deal with all new people and leaving up people that I like and not knowing if I'm going to like the new people. The biggest con otherwise then is literally just my passwords are going to have to change and my username for certain things.
Oh, that's minor.
Otherwise, but like the people side of it's such a big deal. Like, when your entire job revolves around people, it's such a crazy thing. It's like, if I don't like the people I'm going to work with, I'm screwed. And it was such a...
Yeah, but you didn't. I guess my whole thing is you didn't know who the people you were going to work for on day one. You're always in the dark on day one.
So
it's not like you walked in day one and you was like, yeah, I'm going to like these people. I'm okay with this.
yeah,
You knew nothing about it.
but most of but the thing is, okay, we gotta look at,
and then you grew to accept it.
we gotta look at, for one thing, we have to look at kind of me applying for jobs and like all the big decisions of my life for the past 5 years or more. Every single large decision I've made in the past 5, more than that, good God, I forgot it's been 4 years since I graduated high school.
You've been stubborn and reluctant to change.
The past 8 years,
your whole life.
Past 8 years, maybe even more, every large decision that affects the rest of my life, each decision was made on a whim. Like, the amount of thought and calculating and pros and cons lists I made were zero. It was just like, why not? My major for college? Why not? I was just like, sounds interesting. Yeah, sure, whatever. Working at Menards, that was literally out of spite. I did it out of spite.
You had to get a job, and you're like, well, fine.
No, that wasn't the spite. The spite was there was a kid in my class who tried to apply for Menards but didn't wear a suit. And I said, you should have worn a suit. And they didn't call him back. I'm like, okay, well, I was thinking about applying to Menards. I'm going to go apply, see if I get it. I got the job. They didn't even, like, call me. They're just like, okay, like, after the interview.
You
like,
wore a suit?
Yeah, I wore a suit to my Menards interview.
Like a jacket and everything, or shirt and tie?
No, jacket and everything.
I've never worn a suit to interviewing because I don't own a suit. I own a nice shirt and tie, several ties.
I just bought a new suit, but that was this summer. Anyways, so I got the job right there. But that whole decision was just spite. I applied to Menards because I was like, whatever, I bet you if I wear a suit, I'll get the job. And I did. Spite. I didn't think about it. I just did it.
Yeah.
Working at the co-op, there was some thought behind that. But it wasn't really. It was more of, I need a freaking place to work. I need money. I'm tired of my current job. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, same here.
Where I live, I didn't have any other options.
You did too. My dad told me he found you several different places in Lincoln.
No, he didn't. He never told me he found any places.
He did too. Well, he told me he told you. I don't know if they were apartments, but they might have been houses.
Yeah, I didn't have the money for it, though. I think what he was well, no, he wanted me to go get roommates off of, like, Craigslist and crap. And I wasn't about to I did not want to do that. I got lucky with a random roommate once, and I'm never doing it again. I had great luck the first time. I'm not doing it again. I rolled the dice and won the lottery. I am not rolling the dice again. That is for certain. So, it's like I rolled the dice once. I won. I'm not rolling again.
Yeah.
Anyways, quitting the co-op was basically, that was pretty much a whim. Most of my college classes were all whims. Picking what my career path was going to be was a complete whim. I was for a class, and they're like, what is your plan for your degree? what kind of jobs can you get with your degree? I didn't even really know. And one of the ones that kind of caught my eye was loan officer. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Whim. Everything was whim. But for whatever reason, this decision, despite my entire history of just doing things on whim, which is not in my character whatsoever, surprising. Like, my personality type does not do things on whim. Everything is perfectly calculated out. Which is so weird that all my largest decisions in life have all been whims. And they'd all worked out. This one time, I calculated and calculated and calculated. And I couldn't make a decision.
You could not, or could.
I couldn't. I did, but I had to force myself to do it. And it felt a lot better after I made the decision, but I couldn't make it. I had to ask the coin. I was like, heads or tails? And I was disappointed by the outcome, so I was just like, well, that was useless. And the reason why I talk about disappointed at the outcome was because I watched a Big Bang Theory episode, and Sheldon was trying to decide between the Xbox One and the PS4, and they talked about, well, flip a coin, whichever one you're disappointed by. And it's just like, well, that's... And then Sheldon was just like, well, I don't want... What if... And then Amy's like, if you're disappointed by the outcome, then you get the other one. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, instead of doing what the coin tells you, do what you feel. If you're disappointed by the outcome of the coin, do that. Yeah. I was disappointed by the outcome of the coin. Yeah. But I was still unsure when I went to bed that night. No, this was Sunday night. Woke up Monday morning. I got my car, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the application. I'm gonna fill out the application. I'm gonna do it. I get
OCR.
Hold on. There's still more to the story. I got to work and I couldn't make my. I couldn't do it. I paced. I paced, and then I thought about one more thing, and that's pushed me over the head to do it, and I did do it. I thought about what is the probability that they hire somebody who actually has more experience than me.
What do you mean?
Well, I
at that position.
Yeah.
Oh, because you have to apply.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go on.
And I'm like, what is the probability that if I get this job, that my old position I get replaced by somebody who's actually better at the job than I am, has more experience. And then I'm like, okay, then me leaving, is it probably? I mean, you don't know, but there's a chance, there's a probability that whoever replaces me is going to be better for that position than I was.
Yeah, because you've only been there for like, what, 6-8 months?
6-7 months, yeah. So,
yeah,
me leaving could be a good thing. They could hire somebody better. Granted, there's a very, very high likelihood they will hire somebody worse, but...
yeah, I'll apply. I'll set the bar real low.
I mean, it pays the same as your job, so...
Yeah, go on.
Anyways, so I did it. I applied, and I have the interview tomorrow morning.
So now that you've applied, do you have to wait 6 additional months for loan officer? Or are you applying for loan officer assistant or whatever?
I don't know, but it doesn't matter because at my current trajectory, 6 months is...
What?
6 months is... Currently at my current trajectory for how fast I'm learning, or how slow learning, I should say, 6 months, saying that I'll be in a different position than I am now in 6 months is kind of like, wow. From what it appears, but who knows?
Sure.
Who knows? I kind of want to get good at my job before I move on to the next one.
Fair enough.
Because they're all like,
Fair enough.
you realize half the stuff's going to apply at your next job. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay then. I need to get better at it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is another thing at the next job. Their con is that, well, I don't know how my training's going to go. I don't know if they're going to keep doing, if they're going to do what my current boss and my boss's boss are doing with me. I don't know. I don't know what their plan is.
We'll throw you out to the wolves.
What?
Did you not hear what I said?
Throwing
I
out
said
the
they'll
rules.
throw you out to the wolves.
I don't know. That is another thing that I don't know, but we will see. We shall see. Next segment, the news. If you want to look at your screen.
I'm good. I'm going to conserve battery life by keeping the screen time at 0.
Okay. Well, the Large Hadron Collider turned back on for the first time in 3 years.
It was off?
Yeah, it hasn't been. They've been upgrading it.
Oh,
I figured you knew this.
no. I'm sorry, I didn't follow it.
Okay. Anyways, they turned it on. It broke a world record. I mean, it's not much of a world record. I mean, I think it held the previous world record, and since it's the only one that was large enough to do that world record beforehand, and it was being upgraded, and was the only one under construction to make more powerful beams. It's kind of stupid, but anyways, the beams were each 6.8 tera electron volts per beam. Very exciting. Now, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've heard from like Dr. Becky and other things, or me, these higher energy beams are good because that gives us a higher probability of getting things like Higgs and other other particles. Correct?
Sorry, I was looking at some. Say it again.
So these more energetic beams give us a higher probability of finding particles like the Higgs. Right.
Maybe. I don't know much about it.
Oh, I thought you knew a little bit about particle physics.
I know a little bit, but I guess what I can say is that
And?
basically, with more energy, you hope to break the particles into smaller and smaller fragments. Eventually, they're elementary entities that make them up. And I guess there becomes a point where you reach the fundamental entities where just driving more energy into it accomplish a higher probability. I don't know. Because it seems to me if you've already crossed the threshold of what it takes to break it into its fundamental entity, I don't know what purpose putting more energy into it does, other than the fact that we are in the dark on whether or not there truly are fundamental entities. I mean, we're fairly certain that there are, particles that cannot be broken up further. Likewise, things like the Higgs.
That was wrong.
What's up?
That was the wrong Higgs.
Yeah, things like the Higgs I don't know exactly how their role plays in the probability game of what you get when you break something up. But
So what I thought was interesting with this new round of research is they're looking for, I don't remember what particles they're looking for now, but part of it was to look for dark matter now.
Okay.
Which is interesting. I'm not sure how they plan to use a particle accelerator to look for dark matter,
Yeah.
but fair enough. There was a Dr. Becky video actually you should watch. It's very interesting. She talks about, in it. She talks about how do we know that big G is constant? Because she said of all the constants in nature that we've measured, it is the one we have the least precise measurements of. And we've only really been able to measure it here on Earth. And if big G is different, then then that could in other places that could explain these galaxies spinning at rates that just don't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. What's crazy is that big G, its value hasn't really changed much. The first experiment done by Cavendish
Yeah, it was
to find big
stupidly
G
precise.
was within 1%. It might have even been slightly less than 1% of what the current accepted value is. And it's because it is just that small, and the techniques haven't improved the precision that much because you're measuring something so small.
Mm-hmm.
Magnitude of 10 to the minus 11. Very small.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to be very, very precise in what you do to get better measurements. However, the thing is that since it's so small and there's so much air in everything you do, you can't improve much.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't been able to improve much more.
My thing is, I love. Wasn't his experiment literally just two giant? Wasn't his experiment like he had a giant steel or lead ball, then had a small steel or lead ball, and then measured basically that force of attraction between them?
He measured the distance. So basically, he had two lead balls, giant lead balls, and then two more smaller ones. Mm-hmm. And they're on a torsion rope that would spin. This is how I did it, because my junior year we performed the experiment, and it was more or less how he did it too. Mm-hmm. However, we had the added advantage of lasers.
Oh.
He had to use sunlight. But basically what it was there were mirrors attached to these on the rods. Mm-hmm. And as light reflects off of one and onto the other, it would reflect off onto the wall. And so you would see two laser dots on the wall. Mm-hmm. And they would oscillate amongst each other. And their oscillation was dependent upon the force of attraction between them. Okay. And we recorded the data of how long it took for an oscillation.
Mm-hmm.
If I am remembering this correctly, there is a formula that relates how much the oscillation slows down over time to the gravitational attraction.
Okay.
And actually, his original measurement was not to measure big G. His original experiment was to weigh the Earth. He wanted to know what the mass of the Earth was.
Mm-hmm.
He knew the volume of the Earth. It was from the Greeks. The Stratosthenes already had calculated what the radius of the Earth was. But he did not know the density.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order to calculate the density, he had to perform this experiment, which gave him big G and the rest of the data necessary to calculate the mass of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, side note, Newton, about 70 years before this experiment, because this experiment was performed after Newton died.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Newton had wanted to calculate and make predictions with his gravitational formula. And the problem was he didn't know big G.
Mm-hmm.
And so he guessed big G. He made an approximation that the density of the Earth, based upon dirt, rocks, water, and the fact that the core, things under pressure compress, he made an estimate that the density of Earth is more or less 6 kilograms per meter cubed.
Mm-hmm.
That was his guess. If you know what the actual value is, then you would be just baffled by the fact that he just pulled that number, because that number is more or less the right answer. It is what is known as Newton's lucky guess, because he guessed the density of the Earth to such a close value that his big G value was more or less correct. And so all of his calculations done on planets and masses and things
Mm-hmm.
were all done from the big G value. He estimated it to be from the density of the Earth that he guessed.
Well, I always
Called Newton's lucky guess, yeah.
Yeah, I always found it interesting was that they were doing so without Big G. I always found it interesting. I'm like, how the heck was Newton predicting the paths and movement of Jupiter's moons?
Because he guessed the value.
Right, and I had a suspicion like he had to have just guessed, because even with Cavendish's experiment, we don't know what without putting something into orbit around Earth, which is, in my opinion, probably the best way to freaking measure, the speed necessary to, without putting something in orbit around Earth, it's hard to, know for certain these are what your experiments are.
Yeah.
These are what these constants are supposed to be, because once you put something in orbit, then okay, I know its mass, I know its speed, and I know its distance from me. Therefore, I can calculate what the mass of the Earth is. But, they couldn't put something into orbit, and they always told me to use Jupiter's moons. I'm like, but we don't know the mass of Jupiter's moons. The only way we could know is if you guessed. The only way.
Because the thing is, we knew the force of gravity. We knew the acceleration due to the force of gravity.
Oh, yeah, we've known that forever.
We had our... obviously, Newton had a different value because the meter was not invented yet. The meter was not invented till 1798. And so But using the units at his time, we can estimate that he estimated it to be 9.8, which is more or less correct, And so, but the thing is that knowing that value, the acceleration due to the force of gravity, you still have two unknowns in the equation. F equals G times M divided by R squared. And so you still have two unknowns. You still have G and M.
Yeah.
So you could make G whatever you want and make M the new value to get the right answer for the force of gravity. G and M can be whatever the heck they want. And for most case and for cases on Earth, it really doesn't matter because you know the value of that they are combined.
Mm-hmm.
However, the problem is that you cannot make predictions about other planets because you don't know M.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't find M without G. So you need to know G, which is why he guessed G, so he could make predictions.
What a guy.
And there had to have been more thought. I really want to know his thought pattern on 6, the number 6. He must have had some empirical data that he was pulling from, because just simply knowing the density of rocks and dirt, I mean, there must be another formula to estimate compression and pressure to the center of the core.
I mean, he also made calculus on a bet.
But not only that, he didn't even know what the core was made out of.
True.
The core is not made of dirt and rocks. It's made of iron and nickel.
Right. Which makes you wonder, like, how were his equations? Were his equations off?
Yeah, I mean the maybe they did know though that the idea of magnetism and compasses had been known since ancient times. Except I've never actually bothered to look it up to see if they had any predictions on how it worked. Because he could have also then predicted, obviously,
well,
there's 3 choices. There's literally 3 choices, iron, nickel, and cobalt, that are at the center of the core, and it happens to be 2 of them. And they're all pretty close to the same density as well.
I just watched a video where they talked about that, actually. Up until Maxwell's equations, they had no idea. They had a guess, but it wasn't a very good guess. They were pretty rough. Up until Maxwell, they didn't have a freaking clue.
Yeah.
I don't remember what video it was or how the heck it came about. Why Maxwell ended up being like, yeah, this is it. I don't know. Oh, yeah. But without Maxwell, they had... Their guess was rough. It hadn't really changed since the Greeks. It was rough. Anyways, I was gonna. We have one more article, but we're trying to keep this short. It just talks about NASA's plans to explore more planets, which I've talked to you about with their Uranus. Wait, these are old. These are all their current missions. What? Okay. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Point is, news segment time. Your comments and the future of the channel. Let's take a look here. We do actually have a reasonable amount of comments, but the channel has been doing unbearably bad. But fair enough. Chemistry TGIF Talks 92, the water ball commented, the last segment is the most nerdy thing I've ever listened to in a minute. Yeah, we were doing the element game. It is pretty freaking nerdy. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
I guess I could stop sharing my screen. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Hello? Sorry. Oops. Anyways, right. More better titles. TGIF T92, which is actually we're gonna discuss here after these comments. Ryan Orange commented, watching this at 12 a.m. and I have school in the morning. I question why you're watching the third part of the podcast at 12 a.m. on a school night. Anyways, Lies About Lie, which is a really good title. The water bottle commented, good video. I'll have to remember Lie cleans drains. Yes, it does. On to the gaming channel. Yes. We have quite a few comments. The water bottle's been getting caught up on stuff, so. Floors and a new game. Minecraft 91. The water bottle commented, villagers are 100% easier now than they've ever been. When we get into that in our teaching series, they're easier. They require I would say the mechanics to get them to work make more sense. But before, it was literally just place a bunch of doors, make sure they're placed in the right orientation, and have enough villagers, and boom, you make iron. But as for trading with them and how to actually set up that farm, it makes a lot more sense now. Anyways, teaching my cousin how to play Minecraft Pilot. The water bottle commented, stop crouching. Yeah, I yelled at you the entire time because you kept crouching.
Oh, yeah.
Some gold. Bedrock Let's Play 25. The water bottle commented, build a dam. Gotta control that water. I might build I think that's my next goal. Build a dam.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all of the comments. So, future of the channel. We are oh my, I didn't realize this, but the channel is just, oh my god. We've gained 3 subscribers in the past 28 days, and I want to die. I don't get it. Like, okay, a month ago, the channel was just the channel was doing fantastic. We gained like 10 or so or more subscribers in a matter of weeks. It was crazy. I'm like, finally, the it's picking up. And then it died. The thing is, none of these views were coming from current videos. They were all coming from past videos.
Yeah.
And I don't the algorithm. The algorithm is, I'm at the whim of the algorithm. When it decides to push and not push my videos, I'll never know. Granted, we are approaching the summer, and my channel does tend to do worse in the summer, just because with it being... Well, no, it does. Because you're not in school. You're not looking up, the kind of content
I'm not in school anymore.
Okay, we're nerds. We're weird. We're different. So it's kind of one of those things. And actually, I wanted to look at. I think the mosquito video broke 1,000 views. That video does well. Actually, of all the videos the videos I do better in the winter, in the fall, in the spring, in the winter. I do bad in summer. Except this video is the opposite. It does well in the summer and does bad in the winter. And actually, the logic that what Vertasium and Mr. Beast say to use in your video titles, this one breaks that logic.
What is that?
Give me a moment here. Sort by most viewed. Why does it feel good to scratch mosquito bites?
It has an interesting question. I don't know. What do you mean it doesn't follow their logic?
But I thought the logic was no mumbo jumbo. Mosquito bite scratching. I feel like that's mumbo jumbo. Maybe not. I don't know. Well,
people know what those words are.
Okay,
Portal is mumbo jumbo.
Okay, but stargazing kit.
What about it?
I really think I should change that title to like something else. I don't like the title.
We can work on that.
Yeah, that one needs to be worked on. But okay, I have the opportunity. Actually, I'm almost 2 episodes in debt now, but we'll worry about that one. I'm gonna be an episode. I am already an episode in debt, and I want to start writing it. And I'm gonna be a 2nd episode in debt, but I will worry about that later. I've got another video on centripetal acceleration. I'm really excited about it. I already wrote down kind of how I want the intro to go, but I want to build. I want to make an episode. I want to make an episode just like how the professional YouTubers do, which is they design it around the title and thumbnail. You really need to watch Safety Third, because I think this would really let us some insight. I would really like for you to also see the same information I'm getting on this.
Yeah.
Because they talk about how they don't like making videos because all the videos they want to make aren't going to do well because they can't put a good title on it. And so they end up coming up with titles and making videos based on it. Like Nile Red had he's a little different, but he basically is like, what'd be interesting is making hot sauce from rubber gloves. That's a crazy title. And he's like, can he do it? And he did it. The video was an hour long, which he's like, I can't believe there are people that watch that for an hour. Like, I watched it all the way through. I thought it was awesome.
Can you make hot sauce?
Huh?
Can you make hot sauce?
Yeah, he turned rubber gloves into capsaicin. What? You're muted. Hello?
Oh. No, I didn't have any words on the matter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, anyways, he turned, which is just insane. But anyways, William Osmond, he has to just come up with a title and then make the video on it. Actually, I think he's been dotting around the idea of measuring the speed of light.
Yeah.
Which...
Well, that was
we could maybe do it. We have some hills that are pretty far apart. The issue is getting...
No, you're not doing the Galileo experiment. Bruh.
But he's going to tie to.
No. You're not doing the Galileo experiment. Why? Because it's inconclusive. All Galileo did was determine that the speed of light was too fast for the human observation to be made.
I thought... Well, no, wasn't there... But no, I thought wasn't there an experiment where they had it on hills and they had rotating mirrors?
Yeah, no, rotating mirrors. Well, no, what Galileo did was he had someone start a stopwatch. And they had a clock or something so they know when to start the time. And they turned on the lantern. And the moment you turn on the lantern, it was like inconclusive. There was no possible way. Why? Because do you know what the speed of light is?
Right.
186,282 miles per second.
Right.
Per second.
I know.
The light travels 7 times around the Earth in a second.
Right. I know.
There's no way to do a hill.
Right. I know. But there was an experiment with rotating mirrors, and that's what William Osmond was talking about.
Well, yeah. So when I measured the speed of light, we used rotating mirrors, but you use a laser.
I have a laser.
It's a very difficult experiment, it's one of those that are hit and miss because it requires so much precision that either you're dead on and you get a very good number, or you're just way out of the ballpark. Fortunately for my group, we did manage to get a very somewhat close value. I really don't recall what it was. but forget exactly how it worked. But yes, it does using rotating mirrors and a laser. And the other thing is it requires a very, very, very dark room.
Mm.
I'd have to read more to figure it out.
This sounds like we're gonna blind ourselves. Hey, what?
It's an interesting experience. You'd have better luck doing what's it, James Romer,
What's Romer's
who I believe
experiment?
made the first reasonable prediction on the speed of light,
Mm.
and he used moons that were eclipsing Jupiter.
Oh yeah. Because the shadow lagged behind the movement of
The
the moon,
lie
right?
behind the prediction.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one. But we'd have to. The thing is, though, the thing about that one is, we have to. It has to be during an eclipse on Jupiter, which happens frequently. We're gonna need
Yeah.
a hell of a telescope, probably bigger than what we have now.
Yeah.
Well,
The thing is, our telescope is better than what Newton had, right? Than what they had at his time.
yes, but I mean,
I mean, there's something like done like the 1680s.
okay, I guess we could do it. I would prefer to have something a bit bigger, or something with something bigger with better magnification, or at least something with a tracker. Anyways, if we're gonna do this right, I want to. I mean, we could.
No, we should do it how the Greeks did it. They didn't have no tracker. No, I mean how they didn't have no tracker at his time.
Yeah, but
Hell, the second wasn't even invented yet.
the concept of a lot of things hadn't been invented yet, so the concept of society hadn't even really been invented yet. They invented democracy, heaven forbid. So, the concept of people having rights. What a stupid idea. Anyways, so so this centripetal acceleration video. Did you come up with any titles?
Oh, not yet. I haven't had much time to think about it. You just asked me today, didn't you?
Yeah.
Or yesterday?
Yeah, I asked you this afternoon, but I figured maybe actually this morning, but I figured maybe it had something idea. I
haven't had time to think on it.
Yeah, I couldn't think of it. I was just like, what would be something? I mean, we can either go because like centripetal acceleration. Maybe we could do something along the lines of the centrifugal force and how it's not really a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how would we word the title like that? Like, centrifugal force factor cap? It's actually pretty good.
I was thinking something along the lines of what is spinning?
What is spinning? Ooh, that's good. I was coming with that was what is spinning? That's pretty good, yeah. I like that one. I think we've got those are two front runners there. What is spinning and then centrifugal force factor cap. What?
Do you spin?
Do you spin? No, that was not as good. Spinning is such a wild thing. Life invented the idea of moving in a straight line.
Life?
Yeah, you
Or
realize
wife?
that? Huh?
You say life or wife?
Life. Apart from light, life invented the idea of moving in a straight line. Even light doesn't move in a straight line. But, because everything in the universe moves in circles or ellipses.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is spinning.
Mm-hmm.
Life on this planet invented the idea of what if we went in a straight line? Because here on the Earth, with it, as long as you're not going over a certain distance, everything is a straight line. Nothing is curving.
What do you mean? Nothing's curving.
Well, I mean, from our point of view, without looking a little closer at things, it appears the Earth is flat. It's not. But from our perspective, without looking closer, like literally, it doesn't take much to realize the Earth is round. Like to actually measure it is one thing. To realize it's not, it's just, oh my god. In the modern age, it's so easy to realize, oh, well, that wouldn't happen if the Earth was flat. Flat earthers piss me off every single day. Oh, boy. Okay. I had those 2 titles written down, unless we come up with something better. What is spinning and centrifugal force? Fact or cap? Yeah, I'm liking that. What is spinning? That's pretty good. I don't know what it is, but something about a spinning object. It's just fascinated me. Ever since I learned about centripetal acceleration, that was like the one moment like that got me really excited. I don't know what it is. Something about the idea that I can make something accelerate by spinning it. Have a constant acceleration. Doesn't require a rocket motor. It doesn't require a planet or a black hole. I can just spin it.
The problem is that it has to spin very fast or be very, very large.
Hey, if you build it in space, you can build crap basically as large as you really want.
Because the problem is that you want something that does not have a big gravitational difference between your head and your feet.
Yeah.
Earth is so massive, the gravitational difference between your head and your feet isn't much. But in a spacecraft that's spinning, artificial spinning, there will be. You do not want there to be a noticeable difference.
If I remember correctly, I think the Russians were the only people to ever build something in space to test an artificial gravity type thing. Or maybe they didn't build it in space. They might have built it here on Earth. Yeah, that's what they did. They had a little room, and they put somebody in it for like a week or like a month or like a week or something. I don't remember. But the Russians really the only people that ever did this. I don't know why no one's ever like it's such a crucial technology for humans long term in space. I don't understand why nobody's looked into it more. I don't get it.
It's difficult.
Yeah. But I mean, would you rather screw somebody up for life, or would you rather be able to keep somebody in space for, well, maybe their entire life? Minus the radiation.
What if you just freeze them?
That's not practical. You're going to freeze somebody for 6 months to go to Mars?
Yeah. You don't have to worry about food or anything.
That doesn't seem practical.
Why? You freeze them for 6 months, no food, no supplies necessary. You unfreeze them, bam, there they are. Do their experiment for the day, head back, freeze themselves. No need, you need like 1 day's worth of food, 2 days worth of food. That's it.
How would you unfreeze them though? But how do you? Right. But without all their cells turning into mush.
We haven't worked out all the bugs yet. Okay.
Well, it's going to
There's-
take us longer to figure that out than it will be to develop the technology to make an artificial to make artificial gravity use this triple
It seems like
acceleration.
they're both problematic.
No. One is known, proven science that works, that literally all it takes is funding, and the other
Yeah.
is...
Literally all it takes is funding to freeze someone.
No. Well, yeah, we've been freezing people for decades. We don't know
Exactly. It's already known technology.
we don't know how to unfreeze them.
We do too.
No, we
You hate them.
but they have to come to life, though. We don't know how
Well,
to do
so, okay.
that.
So since like you said, how do you unfreeze them? We do know how to unfreeze them.
Right, okay. How do we unfreeze them but have them remain functional?
It's still in the works, okay?
Right.
Or
But wouldn't it
we're
just
trying
be
to master
easier just to build a massive space station in orbit and then strap some nukes to the end of it? And off
that
to
seems
Mars?
like that'd be a lot of work, sir.
No, not
Let's see.
really.
Nukes are dangerous. You're on a sealed environment.
That was an idea. I mean, you could... Solar sail is also an idea.
And once again, you need a massive solar sail.
Well,
Photons don't carry much energy.
I know.
At least the ones from our sun don't.
Lasers. There was an idea for where they would build a big giant parabolic mirror that they would use to focus sunlight on a solar sail on a satellite so that it could be sent out. I don't remember where they were trying to send the damn thing to, but they'd send it out somewhere faster than it would be otherwise. But I don't know. Point is, I don't know. It's an idea. Whatever. Anyways, fourth segment time. News segment time. The fourth segment. So, unless you have an idea, I was gonna say, not play the element game, but discuss, ranking elements. Not actually rank them. I mean, we could discuss that.
Oh, we could talk about the Veritasium video from yesterday that I watched.
The lead guy?
Have you watched it?
Yeah, I was the one that told you about it.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, no, it's in my feed. I just hadn't watched it yet.
Well, I'm beginning to think Veritasium's just ripping off of Cosmos Season 1.
I haven't seen Cosmos Season 1.
Well, he's ripping them off.
Why?
The animation style's relatively similar. And the guy they talked about is also relative. So he talked about the guy who made lead, the leaded gasoline. But he did briefly talk about the guy who kind of made the big stink about it because he was trying to measure the age of the Earth. They talked about that guy on Cosmos. And so, yeah, I love how one guy caused two massive environmental catastrophes. And he was just inhaling lead and freon. Like, what?
Yeah.
And he knew, the thing about the lead was, I mean, the freon, I don't think anybody really knew that. I can't blame them. They didn't have satellites. They didn't have a proper way to test its interaction with ozone. Plus, who would ever think to test a chemical's interaction with ozone? They do now, but back then, who would have ever thought? And I can't blame them for that one. But the lead, what? Bro.
We knew lead was bad.
The funniest part was the ethanol one. They're like, well, in 10% concentrations, ethanol works. I'm like, are you telling me ethanol? We already knew ethanol was gonna be hey, this could really work as a fuel additive or whatever. Like we could be sipping on E10 since the 40s.
Yeah.
But instead we decided let's put lead in our vehicles. Like what?
Yeah.
He made every human born before 1980 dumber.
Mm-hmm. We're dumber now.
Well, I mean, the lead levels in our blood are slowly decreasing. I love how the CDC said, "Here's the acceptable rate."
Ah, yes. So it's not technology's fault that we're dumber. We were already born that way. We are already
Well,
off to a rough start.
I mean,
Yes.
there's still questions on that. But something that I find interesting was that I love how they did the math. How it cost humanity like several hundred billion. Like it cost us like how wasn't it in the trillions of dollars it cost humanity the lead because it made people that much dumber with the crime. Like they said, the lead caused more
I don't
crime.
remember that figure. Yeah.
It was somewhere in the, I swear it's the neighborhood of $1 trillion or trillions of dollars, which is just stupid. It was in the trillions of dollars. Anyways, which is a stupid figure. No, I love how the CDC is like, here's the acceptable lead level in people's blood, but in reality, the acceptable lead level is 0.
0.
I'm like, that's perfect.
You should not have any lead in your blood.
They're like,
Pam.
lead is so...
Pam, what are you doing?
They're like, lead is so bad that it has to be at a 0 concentration for it to even be acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Which is insane. That's interesting how lead interacts with how it sticks in your bones. Just like, that was one of the fears of strontium-90, radioactive isotope of strontium, that gets dropped from nuclear weapons. That gets left over, and it interacts with the calcium in your bones. So strontium gets a really bad rap, even though there's nothing really wrong with the element. It's just that it gets a bad rap because, well, people think it's bad. It's not. There's nothing wrong with strontium. Strontium is it's whatever. It's just another element on the periodic table. But it gets such a bad rap from nuclear weapons, and how they were afraid that the strontium would get in your bones, cause bone cancer and blood cancer, and kill you. What a so great. No, that was a good video, though. Other than the fact that it was literally just a Cosmos episode, it was pretty good. And Cosmos was great, so I can't complain. So, I don't know who did it better, Neil deGrasse Tyson or Vertasium. That's up for debate, but...
I don't know. I kind of like the animations.
It's the same it's the same.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm not even joking. They are so damn similar. There was one video.
Well, I wonder if he has the same animator.
Possibly. What was funny was there was one animation from a Vertasium video. I don't remember which one it was. I thought it was straight up ripped from Cosmos. I straight up thought it was. I was
Really?
like, what? It wasn't, but I straight up thought he just ripped it right out of Cosmos. I was like, what? And I haven't seen Cosmos since I was in 8th grade.
I never did see it.
Oh, it was fantastic. That was my
What were some of the episodes?
There was one where he shrank down and talked about the microscopic world. That was really cool. Talked about tardigrades. There was one where he talked about black holes and hypergiants and stars. He talked about the birth and death of stars. That might have been the same one he talked about light. There was one he talked about Einstein and relativity and light. That was a cool episode. I didn't really understand it. I understand it. I understand it a lot better now, but back then I was like, whoa, well, this is kind of interesting.
How many are there?
Huh?
How many are there?
I don't remember, like 12 maybe? 8 or 12? Not very many.
And can it be found on anyone? Like Netflix, Amazon Prime, or anything?
I haven't checked to see if it's on Amazon Prime or Netflix. I know you can watch it for free on science.org, but as I've science.com or sciencechannel.com, but as I've just said earlier, Science Channel video playback sucks. Like, you can go watch every single Mythbusters episode right now, but it sucks.
Why?
A, they take forever to load, and B, you have to watch ads, and it's the same, and it's they're like periodic ad breaks. There's 5 ads, and it's the same ad that plays 5 times.
Mm.
And this break, these 5 ad breaks are like every 10 minutes or whatever.
Mm.
You want to die. And the ads just, oh, they're so bad. Maybe they've improved it since the last time I was on there looking to watch Mythbusters and stuff, but I couldn't. I'll have to look to see if it's available, but Cosmos, there was a second season of Cosmos, actually.
Is there 2 seasons?
They just came out with the second season. Oh, freaking almost a decade later.
Where? On Science Channel?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't have any way of watching it. Is what it is. But actually, Cosmos is based off of Carl Sagan's original series.
YouTube TV. Voodoo.
I suspect it's on Voodoo, but
It's on Voodoo and Amazon Prime for $1.99.
That's per
I
episode.
don't know if that's per episode. Is that per episode?
Yeah, let me look on Voodoo. Cosmos.
Oh, it's also on Disney Plus. My brother can give us access to Disney Plus.
I had to figure out which Cosmos we're taught. Strip the Cosmos Season 1. Oh, Cosmos the Space-Time Odyssey. I think this is it. A 13-part adventure, yep. Yeah. This is the one. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it was so good. The last one was kind of,
No, did you see it's on Disney Plus too?
well, wait.
What?
Yeah, we could watch it on Disney Plus, but because it's a National Geographic, that's where Richard's going. But no, it was so good. Those are the best 13 weeks. The last episode is really depressing.
Depressing?
Yeah, it's about extinction
And?
and global warming.
Yeah, things die. Things get replaced. Oh, well.
It's depressing.
You are easily replaceable. Just know that.
Oh, I'm well aware.
I wake up every morning constantly reminded how easily replaceable I am.
I wake up, I exist every day, constantly reminded that death is around the corner and that at any moment, all of humanity will be wiped out.
Yeah.
As I've said before.
The worst.
As I've said before, and nobody's ever made this. Civilizations on the cosmic scale pop in and out of existence like electrons.
Mm-hmm.
No one's ever made that assumption. No one's ever talked about that before, but it's a great analogy. Electrons pop, bing, 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 which is actually a talk about.
We are popping in and out of existence.
They talk about that one of the Cosmos episodes, actually. They talk about atoms. And the civilizations on the cosmic scale.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never know.
We are nothing but just a simple vibration of energy, dancing for itself in the universe that will eventually fade out in light of other random oscillations, other human beings who are just random oscillations in the energy field density of the universe. And one day it'll all go silent.
Yeah, I'm done being depressed. Anyways, what a fun fourth segment. Anyways, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. New podcasts every other Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time. And good night.